Everyone. So today on this video, I'm going to be talking about what inspired me, what drove the creation of this skim dipper, and essentially what brought it to life on paper as I was painting it. So basically, it started when I was in a rut with my drawing. I was painting something from the novels, like a scene from the novels, and it's so big that I actually got to a point where I was feeling a bit bored of it. So I do have ADHD, so sometimes novelty wears off. So I just wanted to push myself to do something a bit different. I haven't really ever done anything that's not cutesy before. I mean, he's still really cute, let's be real, but he hasn't got that fey like mushroom vibe that I usually go for. And he began with me just imagining a shape in my head. I sort of saw a peanut shape. I thought it was quite an awkward, funny shape. And then I thought of very, very long limbs to create this awkward, sort of a bit wet look. Like, you know, when you hang wet clothes on the washing line and they hang down. I imagined his arms and legs to be very similar to that. And he has very, very long fingers as well. So all of him is very long, and obviously he lives in the water, so he's very flowy, but out of the water, very gangly, very awkward. I then thought in my head, okay, so if you've got these gangly legs, what kind of environment would this creature live in? And then I thought to myself, water, like a frog. So I then added the big feet on, created them into sort of flippers, I suppose, and drew inspiration from frogs in water. For the further detailing, I decided to go for something a little bit more gargoyle-like. So I wanted to add some tiny little wings as an almost comedic effect. So he's got this giant body, very gangly, and these tiny little wings that can barely carry him anywhere. This then further led me into thinking, okay, let's give him some gnarly teeth. He needs to be quite ugly, but you kind of feel sorry for him. I think I draw that inspiration from my own life, my own childhood. Some of my heaviest influences growing up was Tim Burton, for example. So I'm very much into that archetype of the lovable monster. So yeah, I added these little gargoyle-ish wings on, and some flippers on the ears just to add that aquatic element. And everything in Mossheart Forest is enlivened by this thing called Lumia, and it brings inanimate objects to life. So there's the twiglings, is another species. They're made of wood. They would be animated, whereas some of the other characters and creatures are fully fantasy, which is what the skim dipper is essentially. And I kind of thought, okay, so how would it camouflage itself from humans? So what you're seeing here in this video is me actually painting the camouflage onto its belly, so it would reflect and impersonate the dappled sunlight onto the bottom of the riverbed. In another video, I will be showing you how I did the skin, and the skin almost turned out to be a different form of camouflage. So you'll get to see that later on. And I kind of figured that would be how they blend in. I did imagine them to be as big as frogs, so I guess if you've really got a keen eye. But, you know, hypothetical, we're living in a fantasy world here, so everything doesn't have to be literal. And so I added what I thought was a really cool feature. I thought that at night time, when they're hunting for damselflies, because that's what they feed off of, they could have their crystals on their head glow, and it will help them see in the dark underwater. And these crystals are powered by Lumia, which is the energy of the forest. And like I said, they eat damselflies off the top of rivers. So they do need to jump out of the water, hence the little wings. The wings sort of flap a tiny amount, pulls them to the top of the water, and they eat one with their massive mouth. and then they plop back into the water. So it's like frogs springing out of the water, big gaping mouth eats this damselfly, wings fluttering, and then they just plop back into the water. I just loved that image. I thought in my mind I could imagine it in like a documentary where they all do it in like a chorus, almost like a synchronized chorus. So that is kind of what I've imagined so far. I hope you enjoyed hearing about it. And obviously, I'm really, really grateful to have you here as one of my paid Patreons. It means so much.